Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Jay and Lucas. What's up, gentlemen?
Yo, 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 yo.
Hello, hello.
I say this with a slight tear because this is your last in US cast with us, right, Lucas? For
Yes,
at least a while.
Yeah, so I will be in Germany when it would be my next time to come around. So I'll be doing something different potentially by that time.
Jawohl.
Jawohl. Isn't that Russian?
No, that's
No?
German.
Oh, okay. You're right. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what that means. So I don't speak any
sure he'll figure
German
it out.
yet. So
Well, when you get there, you ask, okay, pal?
Yeah. I know how to order food and ask where the bathroom is. That's about it.
yeah. Ein Kaffee bitte. I know that.
Mhm.
That's good.
Stilla
that's about
or still or sparkling? What is sparkling? Man, I used to know this. Anyway,
It's funny. I took about 7 or 8 years of German. I've been to Germany multiple times. One of my jobs I had about 10 years ago, I spoke German very consistently, like on a daily basis with a couple people. And probably like 10 years, I haven't really been using it on a consistent basis. Do you know how much I've forgotten? Like it just fell out of my head.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
somebody was trying to talk German to me the other day, and I'm like, oh no, like I used to be fluent in this. Like I was
Not
like,
as
oh,
fluent as you
God.
remembered.
No, I was like, oh no. Plus some, yeah. Anyways, so Lucas, this is potentially the last cast for a while. So we salute you, sir. You've done an amazing job for the 5th Trooper, and we love you, and you're amazing, dude. And you're off to bigger and better things. And I'm sure Lucas will pop in on the blog and the podcast from time to time, but it won't be as frequent as we would like. But we totally get it because Lucas has got an amazing job and an amazing career out of him, and we're proud of him and happy that he's on his path.
Yeah, gonna miss it here.
well, you're not popping in on the blog. You're on your regular schedule.
No, I am still
okay.
I'm so
Yeah.
disconnected from the blog. I have no idea what's going on. I just
Yeah,
said,
for those
Yep.
For those of you that don't know, Kyle cracks the whip on us for that blog, and Jay just hands over the reins. So yes, I will still be writing regularly for the blog,
nice.
and be doing some other things. I don't know if we want to talk about this at the end or not, but I had some spitball ideas. I know we said man in the fields, reporting on events and different things, potentially some local people. But just since I can't be here at the same time, I've been thinking about doing some like video content potentially, since I could do that on my own, and I don't have to be in the same time zone to do that.
Well,
so hopefully
and-
still be around doing stuff.
We know that our European brethren always want representation. So, if you find any crazy Germans that, Simon or somebody out there, Simon's a fan of ours. I forgot where he's from, but something minis. But anyways, Simon's a good dude. There's a bunch of good dudes in Germany. So you should talk to them. And if they want to get on the cast, this is your way. My German brothers, you go through Lucas. You bother him. You bother him now.
Yep.
Everyone in Europe, if you want to be doing some of the 5th Trooper, hit me up.
Oh, dude, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, you're gonna need like a go-between. You're gonna need
Oh God.
You're gonna need people.
You're gonna need an assistant now just to handle all those requests.
Well, I know we got a few people over there, right? We got AJST, we got Dr. Power Slam.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anyone else that's European? I think everyone else is Canadian and American, right?
Yeah.
We're getting there though.
Yeah. One country at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you have fun over there and do some good fun work too. For your real job. I don't mean like but yeah. And let us know what the Legion scene is like over there. Here it's very intense. So
I'm a little scared. The Germans go like hard for everything. Legion. I was talking to it was October at OVO this year, and he was showing me like at one of their events, they don't just go hard for the game of Legion, they go hard for like celebrating Legion. They made a Millennium Falcon cake that they ate after an event that was like 6 feet long or something crazy. And then there was just photos of them all drinking, bunch of beers and eating all this food, and they have like cookouts and celebrations, it sounds like. So it sounds like over there, the European scene, they're not only good at the game, but they go hard for Legion in all facets. So I got to get my cake making skills together so can fit in there.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, right? Because I think I don't know, I'm just gonna make something up here, but I think because we're a bigger, more spread out country, like we get these pockets of Legion, right? Or pockets of everything, right? And in these other countries, like it's more they're closer, there's less people, so they're it's more of a closely guarded, closer knit community. Like I was talking to our friend down in South Africa, and he was saying the same thing. Like the people who play Legion in South Africa are extremely dedicated to the game, and so it's great. So I'm just glad that all these international people listen to us, and I'm glad they're playing the game. And I'm hoping we got Worlds announced now. Maybe we'll get to see some of our friends who got their invites and come next March, and that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Definitely can't confirm if I'm going into those qualifiers yet, but once I get moved in, let's just say those plane tickets are awfully expensive right now. So maybe getting sweaty and trying to win one of those.
Yeah, just win a plane ticket, easy peasy.
Yeah. I just got to take out all these super good Germans and Europeans. I think there's one in Denmark, some Danish players, and I think there might be another one in Spain that I could potentially go to. Sad part is each of these countries have their own like really good communities. Like we've seen in Invader League, there's names that pop up from each area. So it definitely will not be a walk in the park, and I might get destroyed, but I feel the weight of being the one data point in both the North America and EU ELO boards. So I feel like being that common data point, I got to make a good showing for North America.
Yeah, you're representing all of us.
I know if I get destroyed, it makes everyone in North America, y'all get brought down in comparison.
Not me. Just you.
Well, there have been a lot of really nice people offering to bring me to things and, help me out with events. But I have a secret feeling it's because they just want to all destroy me to assert European dominance. So, it might be like how they fatten you up before they feed you to the lions or putting the gladiators. Then they're like, oh, we'll bring you here. We can hang out. We'll get you some drinks.
Yeah, they're going to beat you at Legion, then drink you under the table and make fun of you about all of it. So good luck with that. Have a great time.
But you will get some Millennium Falcon cake in the bargain. So
at least there's that.
All right. Well, definitely looking forward to your European updates. We do have a lot to talk about today because we actually, somewhat fortunately, are recording because of the holiday on a Tuesday this week, which also means that we got a big content drop today in the form of Battle Forces. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to briefly do some hobby about assembling stuff because I feel like we might need to revisit that with Pikes hitting the table. Before we do that, let's hit some housekeeping.
Oh, thanks. Let's do housekeeping. So as we stated last week, the Gar Saxon Shield upgrade great giveaway is going on for another 12 days. I believe I've got it going to the 17th. So that'll keep going. So if you find that form, my camera's being weird. If you find that form, fill that out and get your free Gar Saxon Shield card from the 5th Trooper. If you haven't gotten yours yet, you are on the list. I just haven't gotten to it because there's now over 4,000 people that have filled this out. So I'm going to fulfill every one of them. It's just going to take me time. There's a couple problems, right? We have to get stamps. Stamps are hard to come by in, quantities of 1,000. And so,
Let's show up to the post office. Can I get 4,000 stamps, please?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Not an easy ask. And so anyway, so we're working on it. Please be patient with us. A lot of people have been asking if I'm on the list. Am I on the list? Yeah, you are. I just haven't gotten to it. No, I probably haven't shipped it yet, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I think I've gotten about 15 to almost 2,000 out so far. So we're probably halfway through. But it's going to take me another few weeks, right? So we'll get them. Please don't worry. I'll get it to you, okay? And thank you for everyone who's been posting and saying thank you. You guys are the best. Let's see what else. We've got Storm Tide starting back up this month. So that's great. If you want to get into Storm Tide, I highly recommend starting with season 2, box 1. That's where you can start and get going. Pretty soon we're going to be discontinuing the season 1 stuff, just because it's been out for a while and we're running out of product, and we're going to discontinue it. But you can start at season 2, box 1, to get started today. And that new box is coming out at the end of this month, which I'm very excited about. I mentioned this before, but it's those are going to be 100% American made now, which is great and exciting, right here out of the 5th Trooper Studios. So very cool. And let's see, we have the store. All our mats and sidebars are finally in stock. I've gotten all the pre-orders out. So if you haven't received your sidebar or mat yet, if you pre-ordered, just send us a note and we'll try to track it down for you. But they are all out. Let's see what else. Okay, yeah. If you like the blog, the podcast, or any of our tools like Legion HQ or legionquickguide.com or Legion Stats, join the Patreon. That helps us pay these boys and girls to write and record and do all this stuff for us and build these great tools. So join our Patreon. Yeah, I know we're on the verge of a live Q&A for the 5th Trooper. I think we hit the mark last week, and then I think we lost a couple, but I think we'll probably just end up doing it. But if you want a live Q&A from the staff at the 5th Trooper, I think what we're going to do is, we've done it a few times behind the Patreon wall, but I think what we'll do is, to get more people excited about it, we'll probably do a couple that are outside the Patreon wall so that people can jump on and ask us questions. But we'll get on Patreon, get us up to that next level so we can start doing live Q&As monthly with the 5th Trooper folks. Other than that, I think that's all I got for housekeeping. I got one Fox update. We almost fist fought the other day. So I was getting breakfast and I was coming out on the porch, and we hadn't had a Fox incident in over a month. And so we're like, you know what? We're going to let these chickens free roam. It's time. Fox is gone. I've been prepared. I've been out there with a gun waiting for it. Nothing's happened. So I said, all right, couple days we had them free roaming. They were happy little chickens. Went and got a bowl of frosted mini wheats, if anybody cares. I got out on my back porch. I went to eat it, and I noticed just feathers all over my yard. And there's a fox. This was 10 a.m. in the morning. There was a fox sitting at the edge of my woods with the chicken in its mouth, just staring me right in the eyes.
Just mad dogging you.
Yeah, the cojones on this guy. So I put my cereal down, and in my stupid Neanderthal head, I go, I'm gonna run straight at him, because then he's gonna drop the chicken. Maybe the chicken's still alive. Maybe I could salvage this whole debacle right here. So I ran straight at him. And there's a good amount of time of me going straight at him that he didn't move. And so about halfway there, it's probably a good 50 yards or so. I go, I'm going to have to fist fight this fox. Like, he's not moving and I'm still running. So I think I'm going to get to him, and we're just going to fight over this chicken that may or may not be alive. And maybe when I got about 10 feet away from him, he finally just like walked into the woods, into the shadows, and was just gone, because I kept going into the woods. I don't know where he went. So he got another one. So that was disappointing. Very upsetting day for me. So now the chickens are no longer free range. So we've just cut that whole nonsense out. And so we've got 7 left. And we got some survivors. They're a little scarred. We've had to have some like couch time with them and really talk them through their fears, and let them know that they're safe now. But Boy, what a rough time.
Sounds like you need some kind of like sentry gun set up
Yeah.
in your yard.
Yeah, somebody suggested a paintball gun because I said on the last cast I didn't really want to kill the. I mean, the fox is just being a fox. He's just doing his thing.
Mhm.
I really didn't want to kill him, and they're like, "Well, just get a paintball gun. You still get to shoot him, and you don't kill him." It's like, yeah, maybe. So I've got a couple paintball guns, so that might be a good idea. But anyways, that's Fox update. That's what you guys all came for, I'm sure. So I don't know. I guess it's fine. Fox is gonna fox. Not much. Clearly, nothing I can do about it.
And trap him.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Poor guy. He's just being him.
Well, I mean, I don't mean like trap him and kill him. I mean like trap him and relocate him somewhere else.
So they're 7 to 10 miles. So you have to drive at least 20 miles away in order to.
I see that you've looked into this already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So maybe
luckily
this is my dumb California city slicker mindset. But couldn't you just like have a dog that keeps the foxes away?
Yeah, but that would be another animal I'd have to worry about. And until the dog is big, the fox will get it. So
True.
It's a real chicken and the egg situation I'm running into over here.
Yeah, you'd have to adopt an already large dog and then
Yeah.
train it, which is much more difficult with adult dogs than puppies.
Because usually if they're up for adoption, they're not into the fox hunting game.
No.
So what I need is those guys from Mary Poppins, but chasing the foxes on the carousel. Yeah.
All right. How about we talk about Legion?
No, I don't want to, Kyle. I want to just talk about silly things.
You could play the Echo Base 3 pip on that fox. That would show him.
Oh God, that'll get him for sure.
Guys, is there a transition into battle forces?
Well, I do want to talk about battle forces.
It sure is.
But first, real quick, I want to talk about 2 tournaments. One of them is near and dear to me, literally. It's a local tournament on July 30th at my local, quote unquote, local store, Huzzah, in Ashburn, Virginia. July 30th. It's kind of like a pre-Nova Open practice tournament. Anyway, I'll be there probably. So if you're anywhere in the Virginia, DC, Maryland area, come hang out and play 3 rounds of Legion for fun for a day. And then a much larger tournament, LSO Lone Star Open is happening in second to last weekend in July, the 22nd, I think, like 90%. So that should be pretty good size. Clearly, we'll talk about that when that's over, how that went. But this will be, I think, the first like quote unquote major tournament with Battle Forces and or Shadow Collective. So it's going to be crazy. They have a lot of prize support. They have like acrylic tokens and all sorts of other craziness. I went last year to also was a great time. It's right there in Dallas Fort Worth area. So good restaurants right across the street. It was a good experience. I think they still have some open spots. So if you want to get some Legion on, Dallas plane tickets are usually pretty cheap. I know right now usually is not something that applies to anything with plane tickets, but anyway, should be fun. I unfortunately cannot go this year. I'm going to a wedding that same weekend, so that'll be fun for me, but it will not be Legion. So all right, should we talk about Battle Forces?
That's it. So now we're just promoting local events. I see how it is, Kyle.
It's mine, Jay.
Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to call us and be one their local event up on the podcast. It's not going to happen, folks.
Nope, sorry.
Kyle gets away with it because he's the original scoundrel. So that's it.
Yep.
All right, what are we doing? Battle Forces.
Battle Forces.
Okay.
It sounds like you have some. So first of all, we should tell people where they can find these. They're at not on the new website, which is not a thing still. They're in the same place as the other Legion documents. atomicmassgames.com/Star Wars Legion documents. And there's dashes in between the Star Wars Legion documents bit. So,
I mean, they put them in a nice, like, block formation, so it looks kind of pretty, I suppose.
It's a bunch of yellow buttons.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah. I don't know. They're up there. So there's that. They are PDFs, which means you can download them and essentially play them for free. Also good, although you probably don't have some of the units that, like, I don't know about you. I don't have 4 FD cannons.
You could get them at the fifthtrooper.com.
Yes.
Use the code SW Legion for 10% off.
There you go. All right. It sounds like you have some thoughts on these already, Jay.
Yeah, I do. It's mostly confusion. And one, I don't understand why we needed these. That's the first one. Two,
hang on, sorry. Do you mean the boxes or the Battle Force rules?
No, yeah, we've talked about the Battle Force rules.
Okay.
I know Kyle has said, and we talked before this a little bit, but that he likes the box set idea is a great idea, and it was
the box idea is great. Yeah,
it was my idea, and so I said it on the Fifth Trooper, and they stole it from me, just to be clear. But so of course I love that idea. No, yeah, the rules I just don't understand. I don't understand why we need them, and I know that they said theme over function, I guess, but like I just don't understand why we need these. And then I thought when we saw the rules, it would be clear, like, oh, this is why, because this is kind of, interesting. It doesn't seem interesting. I don't understand why they're here.
I mean, at least from what I've heard,
it just seems
it's
more
mainly
confusing.
for stuff like Shadow Collective and other factions, right? That's how you can bring in Shadow Collective. Maybe one day, like I know they've announced the Ewoks and stuff. I'm guessing that'll be a Battle Force, since you never see Ewoks anywhere besides the Battle of Endor. So it might be a way to bring in more stuff. But then, right, these 4 Battle Forces in particular are kind of vanilla with a lot of existing stuff. But I understand what you're saying. We can go through all the specific effects, but a lot of these kind of just seem like different card effects, mix and matched. And the power, I know they said in cast that these are not meant to be like hyper competitively balanced to the point where they all can be played.
No, that's clear.
But
yeah,
some of the cards are wildly good. Some seem kind of not so great. And my initial thought was going to be like, say in the Galactic Republic, right? It's really hard to run full arcs. So I thought maybe they would get the most powerful cards because they have the most restrictive list. They have to run arcs in phase 2s.
Yeah.
And like the Empire one has to run snows. But it kind of seems like the ones that have the best units already also have the best command cards. So like
it's just it seems like I know that they said these are theme over balance, but it would have been nice if they kind of missed consistently in the same direction, rather than just being all over the place. Because these are just, the power level of these cards and these battle forces is just wildly inconsistent. And a lot of these are like existing text effects on current command cards, but context is kind of everything with command cards. And you take an effect out of its original context and put it in a completely different context, and it like totally changes what the card does. So we can get to the individual cards, but a lot of these, it seems like really small tweaks would have just made them like either more balanced or more usable, and like common sense tweaks, and they're that. So
it's odd, right? Because the swing on this is incredible. Like we saw Shadow Collective. And and we could talk about this later, but I saw it on the table this past weekend, and it makes sense, and everything seems reasonable and balanced, and you're just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And even some of the stuff that seemed really good on the table, I was just like, yeah, it's good. It's not, I don't think it's game breaking good, right? So everything was just seemed very well balanced. So Shadow Collective as a battle force and as a thing makes complete sense to me, and I didn't understand it at first why it wasn't a faction, but then I got it once they started, everything got released. This just seems, I don't know, rushed is the word I would use. It's like, oh, hey, we're gonna put together some battle forces. Here's a bunch of stuff. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the specific battle forces.
So did we talk about 501st last week or 2 weeks ago?
We did.
I feel like I remember it was already covered, right?
Yeah, sort of. They previewed the command cards, but we didn't have the rules and we didn't have the force org, so it was kind of like lacking context.
You want to start there though?
Yeah, we can start there. Why don't we just we can just kind of start over and talk about, we don't need to like go through in detail these cards because we kind of did that already, but we can just talk now that we know more about how this works. We can talk about it more comprehensively.
Briefly touch on the 501st.
Yeah. I actually have a lot to say about the 501st now that we know the force org. So yeah, it is 501st Legion. This is meant to I guess be thematically like the 501st as it was on Umbara. So if the theme they were going for was Anakin being absent and their combat capability being actively undermined, I think they hit that. Sorry.
So here's something that makes no sense. Okay, I'm just going to start here. During army building, you may include one ARC Trooper strike team unit for each non-strike team ARC Troopers unit in your army spending points as normal. Special Forces, ARC Troopers, no strike teams. Special Forces, each army must include 1 to 4 Special Forces units.
Yeah. So I think that's just kind of poorly written.
So it supersedes. So they're saying if I put in 4 non-strike team arcs in my list, I can have 4 strike teams as long as I have the points for it. But they don't count against the 4. So I could have 8.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like detachment, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's supposed to be able to
kind of like 4 special forces total. But
Yeah.
I see your confusion in that you break the allowed units, but the rank requirements or force org doesn't break. I'm sure we'll have some clarifications on the rules
Even
form
in that
about
clarification, it was confusing. I still don't know what that means, Lucas.
Yeah, it's not super clear. So commanders are Anakin, clone Captain Rex, not clone Commander Rex, and generic clone commander. Core is just phase 2 are clone troopers.
This is an expensive list.
Yeah. Special forces, ARC troopers, no strike teams. We just talked about that. You can probably include those at a 1-to-1 basis. Support ATRT or BARC, heavy lat, unique upgrades allowed, Echo, and 5s.
So let's start with that phrasing right there, because I've seen this on all of them. Those are the only unique upgrades allowed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is strange. So just remember that for those of you at home, if you're going to build one of these lists before the list builders get up to speed, because this is a lot of programming, so it's going to take a while for list builders to functionally figure this out. Anybody with a little dot next to the name, you can't put in these lists
as far as
unless it tells you. Upgrades.
Yeah. So I think that primarily affects the lat, because the lat has some pilots that are unique. Clone Commander Fox and then Hound and Grizzer. I guess you can't use either of them.
Nope.
But as far as the actual otherwise, I think it is just Echo and 5s that are unique upgrades
for
Republic.
Yeah, it's going to be a bigger deal in Rebels and Empire.
Definitely. Yep. So rank requirements: each army must include 1 to 2 commander and operative units. At least 1 unit must be a commander unit. So this is essentially it's a shared commander operative slot like Shadow Collective, except it's max 2 instead of max 4.
But you can't have an operative because they don't list it as an
because there's no listed operatives. Yeah, it's kind of weird that that's even there. Maybe that's future proofing for Ahsoka. I don't know. Core: each army must include 1 to 4 core units. So you only need to include 1 core unit. I think you would struggle to get enough activations with just 1 core unit, but Anyway, special forces must include 1 to 4 special forces units. So you need to have at least 1 full arc unit, because you can't take a strike without a full arc, and you need to have at least 1 special forces unit.
And so we're assuming that is counted against the 4. So if I take an arc, because it just says spending points is normal, not rank requirements. So yeah, that definitely needs to get clarified.
It needs to be clarified. But the bottom line is here, you need at least 1 full arc.
Yep.
Support, each army must include 1 to 2 support units. So you have to include at least 1 support unit, but you cannot include more than 2. And heavy, each army may include up to 1 heavy unit. So you can include up to 1 flat. Yeah, I feel like the weirdest one to me is the support slot, because the natural choice here,
or bark, I guess.
You can include an ATRT. I don't know why you would, because they're bad, but the natural choice here is a bark, but typically barks are running 3s, and you can't do that for 501st. It would also help with the activation issues that I think this thing will have, but you can only have 2 barks. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It would be a lot more palatable if it was 1 to 3 or 0 to 2. 1 to 2 is like the most awkward possible requirement for that support slot, in my opinion. All right. And then the command cards, we kind of already talked about these, but just briefly, lead from the front. It counts as a 2 pip after a friendly, but it is a 1 pip after a friendly commander is issued an order by this card. Choose 3 other friendly units within range 1 of that unit. Each unit gains 1 aid or dodge token. So 1 pip with free tokens counts as a 2 pip. On its face, seems good. We'll get into in a minute. I think that counts as a 2 pip thing is actually bad for synergy purposes. Tactical planning, also a 2 pip to support or special forces unit. It's pinned down, but for support or special forces, which makes it pretty awesome.
Yep.
And then leaders of 501st permanent, because Anakin needed another permanent card. This effect is wild, though. Friendly units at range 1 to 2 of a friendly Anakin Skywalker and or friendly Rex gain Indomitable.
Yeah.
Although less useful in a list where you can't take phase 1s.
Right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, right, everything is courage 2 in this army. I don't think there's a single courage 1 unit, and that's the courage 1 is obviously where you'd really want this effect. Like it kind of just reads your army becomes suppression immune, range 1 to 2 of Anakin.
Yeah, it seems
solid.
For me, like this seems odd because what's happening, and we're going to talk about this, like in these lists that we're about to see, the thing that comes to mind to me is the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And what I mean by that is this is super restrictive to a faction that's already super restrictive because of its points values. And so like I just don't see how this works successfully, this particular battle force, if you were to build a list around this. It seems like a lot of restrictive things.
There's just a lot of weird like non-bows in here, right?
Yeah.
Where you could have, I think, made everything work together a little better with just some very small tweaks. Like the whole 2 pip counts as a 1 pip counts as a 2 pip thing is like, it seems like a great effect in practice, but if you're including Anakin or Rex, or even just a generic, like for Republic, the 2 pip command slot is like wildly crowded. So if you could
technically added 2 pips for that,
right, exactly,
for that spot.
Yeah. So I think if this was just a straight 1 pip, even though in theory this means you can take an extra 1 pip and that's like supposed to be benefit of the card, you can't play it if you don't have it, and like you're gonna have trouble putting this in your deck as a 2 pip. And I think it would just be better as a straight 1 pip simply because of how it works with the existing Republic cards.
Right.
So yeah, like that one, the whole like 1 to 2 support thing, it's super awkward. And then just leaders of the 501st, like this seems like you really want to use this with Anakin, but he already has 3 permanent cards that he needs to use to ramp up. And like this like further delays that. And as it is, that's a huge issue with Anakin, is getting him powered up like in time to do stuff. So it's just the timing on this is really the fact that it'd be great if you could somehow like play Anakin's cards at the same time as some of these other cards, but it's just really awkward. Like everything about this, it's just awkward.
Yeah.
Even if you set aside the fact that they have to take a bunch of expensive units.
I agree kind of with what Jay was saying, that this Force Org, besides maybe the Empire one, feels like the most restrictive, like forcing you to take all these arcs and stuff. And these cards just don't feel like they do that much for it to make it better. You got decent effects. But this doesn't make me go like, oh, now this makes sense. Now full arcs are great,
Yeah, no, and like we were just saying, with the two cards that are really decent, I think that the 3-pip is fine, but like is good. But the two pips effectively, you probably won't take. And if you take one, you're going to be stretching to take it, and you may falter somewhere else. So it just feels strange.
Yeah, I think at least for me, when I first saw this Battle Force, because they announced the cards for it first, seeing the effects is like, oh, these are decent effects, somewhat forgettable. Maybe the Battle Forces overall will have some, they'll be real restricted, but not give you any huge effects. So it's just if you want flavor. But I think, as we'll see with some of these other Battle Forces that we go through, some of these Battle Forces have the potential to be really, really, really good.
Yeah, it's like in some cases it seems like some super minor tweaks, some just very common sense minor tweaks to how this is put together could have made it just a lot more synergistic.
Yeah,
which seems to be kind of the point of these. There's just so many non-bows in here that it's odd.
Yeah,
I think the best version of this probably doesn't include Anakin, because both because of how the cards work and also because of the fact that you're probably just restricted to like 8 activations if you include Anakin. I don't know. As a big Anakin fan, and as somebody that has played Anakin recently in a serious tournament, I would have loved to see this be more like explicitly synergistic with Anakin. And even though there's like, Anakin's name is on one of these cards and is on this Force Org, like it's clearly not designed to be actually effective with Anakin.
Right.
And I don't think it would have been that hard to do that. But anyway.
So should we go in order of kind of what we think is weakest to potentially strongest?
Okay,
sure.
Do Empire next.
We've already been kind of hot takey here. So
Empire next.
Fair enough. So I think opening with Empire, as someone who mainly plays Empire, this is like one of the first ones I opened. And talk about synergy. I think there are some cards in here that have some fun synergies. I think it just got overshadowed by the next two that we'll speak about after this faction. But in this army, it has some special rules. The only real one is you can't use Field Commander in the Blizzard Force. And your allowed units are Commander Darth Vader, General Veers, Imperial Officer. Your operative is Darth Vader. Your core troopers are Snow Troopers and 0 to 2 Stormtroopers. Support is 74Z Speeder Bikes, the E-Web Heavy Blaster Team. Heavy is ATST, and unique upgrade allowed is General Weiss. And your rank requirements is each army must include 1 to 2 commander and operative units. At least one must be a commander, similar to the 501st. Each army must include 3 to 6 core units. This is standard as well. Here's something that's a little different. Each army must include 1 to 4 support units. And then for the heavy, it may include up to 2 heavy units. So again, standard ranks. One thing besides the new command cards that's unique to this is it also has a unique Stormtrooper unit that can be run in this faction, which is called the Stormtroopers Heavy Response Unit. It is 30 points, has 3 models in it, so 1 less than a normal Stormtrooper unit. It has Precise, which is standard with Stormtroopers, 1 Courage, 1 Health. But it only has 2 upgrade slots. but those upgrade slots are heavy weapons, and it has an ability called Flexible Response 2. You must equip 2 heavy weapons. They also have Unhindered, which allows them to ignore difficult terrain.
So
And then-
effectively, what at minimum, this is like a 72.74 point unit, roughly.
Yeah, it's essentially so if you take, for example, the DLT and the RTC, which personally I think is the best combo on this because it gives you 6 dice at range 4.
Yeah.
It's only 6 more points than just an RTC Storm. So you're basically paying 6 points to upgrade a regular Stormtrooper model to a heavy weapon Stormtrooper model, which is really good. I mean, the fact that you can only take 2 of these and the rest of this Force Org is pretty limiting. Is certainly a good thing for balance.
Yeah.
It's interesting that so that basically they said there's no other special units like this for any of these other battle forces. They said the reason they did this specifically for Empire was because the Snow's heavy weapon options were limited, which I guess is true, but I kind of thought the point of these battle forces was that you would be limited in some fashion and then have good command cards to offset it. It's just weird, this one limitation gets a specific carve out in this way. They didn't actually change snows or give you different types of snows. They fixed the snow limitation by giving you ridiculous stormtroopers. It's weird. I don't know. I don't really understand the
it is a little strange flavor wise.
The art looks cool. It's like a shot up stormtrooper.
I just it's again another it's a cool card.
It is.
And I mean, I almost wish that it was available outside of Blizzard.
Oh, it would be so good. Be ridiculous.
Yeah,
3 surging reds, 3 surging whites at range 4 with impact 1 is so good.
Yeah, baby.
You talk
and
about
then
those
at range
spider
3,
droids.
it's even sillier.
Yeah.
But it's a spider droid pool, but with red dice instead of black dice, basically.
And it doesn't exhaust.
And it doesn't exhaust. No ion. Yeah. But still. And they have precise. So
it's really sweet, and Unhindered is pretty good too. There's often situations where you might be stuck by a barricade or something and not be able to move through. I don't think it's as big of a deal as it is on a melee unit to need Unhindered, but it's a nice little random bonus,
especially when you combine it with Spur for a speed 3 move.
So with that, I guess we can talk about the command cards. I think these command cards, as far as balance and flavor, might be my favorites out of all 4 factions. Like I said, I feel like this is the one that for me hits that sweet spot. Besides the Stormtroopers not really hitting the flavor, it seems that balance wise, this one's in kind of the best spot of
I agree with that.
Not busted, but being an exciting new choice. First is the 1 pip called Unrelenting Fire. We got 2 snow troopers flaming it up on the card art. And it says enemy units cannot remove more than 1 suppression token during their rally step. And it gives 2 orders out to 2 units. This is pretty sweet for a suppressive list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Play this the turn after Master of Evil or something.
Just get them stuck with a ton of suppression. And it's 2 orders with the 1
2 orders
pip,
with the 1
which is really nice. This is one of those cards that I think is a big thumbs up. It seems good, not too busted. I like the idea of, in the movie, it's this kind of unrelenting force attacking the rebels. There's no time to clear off your suppression. They're coming all in. I guess that kind of leads into their other cards. The second card, the 2 pip, is Overwhelming Barrage. We got an E-web highlighted in this art. And it says, once this round, at the end of the activation of a friendly commander unit, may perform an attack with the following weapon. It's 4 to infinity, 4 black dice with surge to hit, has blast, beam 1, immune deflect, and suppressive. And this gives out 2 orders. This is a really nice.
That's a really nice bombard. Weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is better. This is better than Veers' maximum firepower by quite a bit.
Yeah, but now you can have both. So then you do an overwhelming
You
barrage
can,
and then
yeah.
a
Or
maximum.
Vader can do this.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
let's do it with Vader.
Oh, there's your 2 strike teams in the back. I'm just gonna beam blast them both off the table. I like it. It's a very good effect. But I think since you're forced to take, like E-Webs, bikes, Vader, and Snows, it seems like a good effect since you have those costs. The third command card, the 3 pip, is I think the one that made me in some ways the most excited because it seemed to actually synergize with the units that are forced to be in this. It is called Debark for Ground Assault. Blizzard Force only. 3 units get orders. It's a 3 pip. Each friendly core trooper unit that is issued an order with this card gains spur. The weapons for each friendly core trooper unit that were issued orders with this card gain suppressive. So again, leaning into that suppression, making the army even more suppressive, which seems to be a theme of this battle force, giving these units all suppression, but more importantly, giving spur. And on a unit like a snowtrooper with steady, that makes them quite a bit faster. If you do the math, that makes a flamer snowtrooper have roughly a range 3 threat
Yep.
range.
Just shy of range
Which-
3.
Yeah, which is really nice. I think that this gets me excited to try out a snowtrooper because on one turn, right, you're going to have that potential to just snap on in super fast. And if you're running this along Commander Vader, you can compel. So it doesn't matter if they're, suppressed or not. They're getting
And-
that double spur in.
I mean, the other thing, really, too. So yes, it's great on the snows, but like the other option is you could put your stormtroopers with their double heavy under protection, and then for their first action spur, and then now, oh god, now they've got you within range 4, and they just annihilate a unit, or range 3, and then they just annihilate a unit.
Yeah.
Or hand out 6 suppression by splitting fire 3 ways with their 2 heavies and the
Yep.
E11s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
I-
yeah, or you get yeah.
this definitely feels on theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a powerful effect. I'm glad that it is face up limited.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably the most of all the command cards of these battle forces. This is probably the most thematic feeling one to me.
Yeah.
Like this feels like something like a Vader led army of snows and stormtroopers should be doing.
Yeah. Rushing in, suppressing all your guys. Next turn, following it up, make it so you can't clear your suppression.
Yep.
Yeah, I think as far as balance and flavor, this one's my favorite. The stormtroopers are a little funky, but I'm willing to forgive it since obviously this came out today, so we don't know how it actually plays.
Yeah, I
I
like
like it.
them, and I think that's why, like, I think they're one of the reasons that this works. It's a little silver bullety, and it's weird that
Yeah.
Empire is the only battle force that got like a specific solution to one of their limitations. But yeah,
Kryzen Gar.
yeah, Chrysangar. Yeah, and Rebels and Droids already have a bunch of good units on their force orgs, so they don't really
They don't really need buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they don't need a specific ridiculous unit card to go along with their battle force. All right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most interesting thing about this one, unlike the Gar one, and I think we're going to see this in the other ones too a little bit, is there is a number of permutations of this, of what you could put in this list. It just seems like
yeah,
there's so many different options. Like, yeah, of course you could go Vader. Vader's very good, right? But you could also go 4 E-Webs or 4 bikes and an ATST with 2 snows and two of these special storms and veers. Like there's a lot of that's, you can get 10 to 11 activations pretty easily out of this.
Mhm.
And this one seems like the most versatile. I think,
yeah, I agree. The most variety of options.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the least restrictive in the actual force org. The allowed units is a pretty short list, but
Yeah.
also like most of these units are pretty decent anyway.
Mhm.
The core slot is probably the most awkward, but again, they have that carve out solution with the storms. So yeah, I mean, you could even run like Vader quad bikes, just run breakthrough bombing run and hostage exchange and be like, yo, which objective you want? um, yeah, I think there's a lot of options here.
And I like that it synergizes with the units in it.
Yeah.
Right? I see synergies with Vader. I see synergies with Snows. I see synergies, with all the different units in this force, which I'm happy to see. That's what I was hoping for when, we were told these battle forces would be,
This one feels like it hits the mark, both in terms of the balance of the battle force, but also the synergy and the theme. All right. If we're going in ascending order here, I'm going to vote the droid one next.
Yeah, I'd agree.
People might argue this, but we're going to save the rebel one for last because there's a very specific interaction I want to talk about with that one. That's kind of ridiculous. All right, who wants to read droid? Jay, you haven't read one yet. You want to do the droids?
All right, sure. The only special rules for this one is it cannot be used. Field commander cannot be used in this one. The allowed units in the commander rank are Count Dooku, General Grievous, and the T-Series tactical droid. And the operative is Maul, the impatient apprentice. In special forces is the IG-100 Magna Guard. That was odd that came before core. In the cores is B1 battle droids, support droidecas or droidicas, depending on who you are, Stap Riders. In the heavy is the AAT battle tank, and the only unique upgrade allowed is the DT-57 Annihilator. So for your rank requirements, commander, each army must include one commander unit. Each army may include up to one operative unit. So that's a little bit different from the other ones. Special forces, each army may include 1 to 2 special forces units. So you can have your Magna Guard. In the cores, each army must include 4 to 8 core units. Support, each army may include up to 3 support units, and under heavy, each army must include 1 to 2 heavy units. So you got to have that AAT in there, at least one.
And I have a question about this. Do you have to have a Magna Guard? Because it says
include.
It's right, but in other places it says like for support, each army may include up to 3 support units. Shouldn't it say each army may include up to 2 special forces units instead of may include 1 to 2 special forces units?
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know why they changed the wording there. I think that's probably just a typo.
Because it says must include when it specifies a minimum number, usually. Otherwise, it just says up to X.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
that's weird.
I'm guessing that's a typo or just a inconsistency of phrasing.
Okay, so you do not have to have a Magna Guard.
I didn't check the rules forms to see anything about that because I didn't even notice that. So I have no idea, but I'm assuming that it means, since it says may, it's one or 2.
Okay.
Or 0.
Or 0.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we've got their
Really
command
good.
cards.
Yeah, up to 8 B1s, in case you wanted to do that.
Yeah, good lord. Somebody reached out and it was like, hey, with the new battle force of up to 8 B1s, can we get order tokens with 8 core? And I'm like, no, just use the special.
Yeah, we have wild cards in there for a reason.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the command cards. Let's start with the 1 pip AI coordination. So this is for a heavy or support unit. Each friendly unit that is issued an order using this card gains a standby token. That's not so bad for the tank. Unrelenting assault for the 2 pip. So after a friendly core unit performs a ranged attack, if it spent 1 or more aim tokens, another friendly unit at range 1 to 2 may gain 1 aim token. So that's coordinated
fire with B1s.
Yep.
Yep.
And their 3 pip unstoppable advance, 3 core units. Each friendly trooper unit that is issued an order using this card may perform a speed 1 move. All right. These are all okay.
Yeah, these are all fine.
I think Unrelenting Assault seems like potentially a really good one, since you could just pass these aims all around and polish up those B1 giant dice pools.
And B1s do actually like aims quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty, especially the E5C if you have surge tokens. Those are actually some pretty scary dice pools with aims.
I honestly don't have any problems with this one. It seems fine.
It's definitely the most like vanilla. Like you
Yeah.
kind of have, this is basically the droid unit roster minus spiders and
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
tactical droids.
I don't. If I
It
would,
is the droid unit roster.
Yeah.
right.
minus
I
2
don't.
units.
I don't see myself. Okay, so I've been playing with like a lot, thinking about a lot of droid lists and stuff lately, and I'm just like looking at it, just going, I guess I don't see why you would do this, but sure, maybe there's something we're not seeing. You know,
If you
these-
want to run an AAT,
I mean, 8B1 seems good.
8B1s with an AAT, it does seem pretty good.
yeah,
And you can also like do some, I mean, Dooku's on this list. Like Dooku's good. Magna Guard are on
I'm
this
not
list.
saying
Magna Guard
no,
are
but
good.
I'm saying is that I'm not saying this list isn't good. I'm saying that all those things are on regular lists too. So this doesn't. Nothing about this list goes, oh, I should do this because it's like the 8B.
I see what you mean.
Maybe, I
Yeah.
guess, but okay.
I think it feels like
It doesn't
if you're
feel
trying to do
thematically
any
different
kind of-
than like a normal droid list.
Right.
yeah.
It's just kind of like a generic card expansion for a list that you might be running
Yeah.
anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If you want an
Yeah.
AAT/Force user list or double AAT, this is probably the battle force to run it in.
Yep.
Like, I guess you could come up with some like droid heavy. I don't know. It doesn't seem very conducive to like Maul or Dooku, right? Like, there's more conducive lists to them. Like, this is going to be like you said. Oh, I could take 8B1s, you know, but like that gets like if you take 8B1s with the E5C trooper and you take a battle tank with, let's just put high energy shells on it, you're already at 615.
Which still leaves you like 200 points for other stuff.
For Dooku or Maul, right? That's a 10 activation army with
Well,
like
it leaves you
beefed out core.
195. Yeah,
Enough for Maul.
yeah, and then a T series.
Although you do need
maybe?
you need
Yeah.
to swap out one of those B1s for a T series.
Right. So maybe you can get 7. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, if
Maybe
you
it's
didn't
just
include a T series and you just did,
Right.
I'm sorry, if you didn't include Maul and you just did like 8B1s, a T series.
It was
an
just like
AAT.
overwhelming numbers or something at that point.
Or you do a bunch of naked B1s with double AAT and a T series.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
do T series 8B1s with the E5, the AAT with the high energy, and one set of Magna Guards with the rocket for 770. So you could deck out some other stuff there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me the flavor too. It's not. I thought when I heard Droid Invasion Force, this was gonna be like Episode 1, Phantom Menace. So it'd be like Destroyer Droid, Staps, AATs, B1s, Maul, and like T series for your commander. I think it's interesting that you also have Magnas and basically all the commanders besides the super tactical droid. Because it kind of just feels like droid soup at that point, right? Like, and at least if this is supposed to be flavor, like why can't you have Maul and Dooku in it or Maul and Grievous? It's not clear to me what this is supposed to be flavor wise. I think balance wise, it seems fine, right? None of these command cards are busted. Getting 2 extra B1s is fine. Droids are already good. And so you can kind of like, this army is just already really good and you get some more tools.
Yeah.
Well, it's
guess-
funny too. If you look at the unit roster, it's literally like the pre-Kashyyyk wave unit roster, except for BX droids.
Yeah.
Although the Magna Guard were in that wave, I guess. But like super tactical droids, spiders, and then the snail tank, which are the only other things missing from this roster, we're all in the same wave. So it's basically just like a 2020 droid list unit roster.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's
it seems like the way that, okay, if I had to pick the theme, right, you're hamstringed a little bit because you have to have the AAT tank. And then you're like, okay, so if I look at these command cards, it wants me to take droids, clearly, right? Like, it wants me to have a lot of core. Okay, great. I'll do all 8 core. Well, not, it's kind of like, it feels like they were going in a direction and then they're like, all right, throw Dooku, Grievous,
Yeah,
Maul,
exactly.
and the Magna Guard in there, and let's call this wrapped.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and you're like, well, what happened? Because what am I supposed to do? Because I can't put those things in this list and have a tank and have 8 droids. Like that doesn't make any, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's an odd.
It's a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
All right.
Rebel
Yeah.
time. All right, go ahead,
Rebel
Kyle.
time.
You're
All
up.
right. Echo-based defenders. The only special rule is you cannot use field commander. Allowed units: Commander Leia Organa, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Rebel Officer. Operative Chewbacca, R2D2 parentheses C3PO. Although 3PO is not on the unique upgrades allowed. Probably should be. That just seems like an oversight. Does this mean you have to take 3PO if you take R2?
It's in parentheses. I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
Usually parentheses is like an aside or a perhaps. So
Usually, I don't know.
right.
Anyway,
yeah.
it's not clear.
I hear you. Yeah.
Core is Rebel Veterans and Mark II.
Perfect.
Certainly on theme there. Support 1.4 FD laser cannon team, and then the hero of the Battle of Hoth, Tauntaun Riders. Heavy T-47 airspeeder, unique upgrades allowed, Wedge. This certainly seems like the most thematic unit roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this is literally just the Rebel stuff that you saw at the Battle of Hoth. Full stop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
I think Blizzard Force would have been there if you didn't have stormtroopers, but
If not for the wind storms and the bikes, right?
Speeder bikes. Yeah.
are they not in the movie at all?
I don't think
You
so.
don't see them.
They're
in
not
the
on
distance?
Hoth.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah. All right. Commander operative. Each army must include 1 to 4 commander and operative units.
Jesus.
So yeah. The other ones are
Hero
all
Hammer.
like up to 2. This one you can do. This is Rebel Hero Hammer if you want it to be. Each army must include 3 to 6 core units. That's normal. Each army must include 1 to 4 support units. So you have to have at least 1 FD laser cannon or a tauntaun. And then heavy, each army may include up to 2 heavy units. So notably, no special forces. I don't think you care. Because of these cards, and specifically the 3 pip, which we'll get to, but let's go in ascending order here. 1 pip, delaying tactics. At the end of the command phase, your opponent must choose one of their non-commander units that has a face-up order token, if able, and return it to their order pool. So this is basically the super tactical 1 pip minus the part that forces your opponent to pull a specific token.
So it's just kind of like worse Sabcoms.
Worse Sabcoms, yeah. I don't really get why you would ever include this in a Rebel list, because if you have a named character, you're going to include their 1 pip.
Yeah.
And your second 1 pip is going to be Sabcoms instead of this. If it's not, if you're not running Luke and you're just running both of his 1 pips. So I don't know. This one doesn't. It's like they just plucked the least good effect from the super tactical unit card and plopped it on here in a faction that has access to a much better 1 pip that does the same thing but better. So yeah, I don't really
definitely feels like some varying power levels of these cards, as we have been alluding to the last one.
It's kind of like context is everything. Like I think this would be a decent effect for a faction that didn't have access to Sabcoms, which is basically just a strictly better version of this, but they do have access to Sabcoms. So I don't know. It's, you can't just like, I don't know. Feels like some of these are just text effects plucked from existing command cards and put in a different context.
I mean, it's better than a generic 1 pip because technically it's 1 unit and it has an effect.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not including a named character with their command cards, I guess you could do like this and Sabcoms.
Yeah,
maybe. Because you're right, it's strictly better ambush. But it's strictly worse Sabcoms. So yeah. Courage of the Rebellion. 2 units, each friendly trooper unit that is issued an order using this card may recover. It's a nice solid effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you're doing it for what? The suppression, I suppose. That's
Luke.
It.
Master of the Force.
Luke, yeah.
Luke, Force powers, yeah.
Yeah, he has no Master of Force because it's Commander only Luke.
Right. Oh,
right.
Right.
So yeah, primarily good on Commander Luke, and then suppression and everything else. Because there's really not, I guess you could use this on like HQ uplinks, but generally speaking, there's not going to be a lot of recoverable upgrades in this list that you're taking. I actually think this would be really interesting if you could take real normal rebel troopers and use it on the rebel trooper ion.
Yeah.
Or have a second card to use on Biston. Of course, you can't take Cassian in this list, so it's not like you would be able to do that twice anyway. But yeah, it seems great on Commander Luke, and otherwise mostly just for suppression on just about anything else. I could see this could be useful in Han after your reckless diversion turn. You tend to accumulate a lot of suppression. So
yeah.
All right, 3-pip.
Bum bum bum.
Hold at any cost. 3 core units. Each friendly core unit gains 1 aim token. Nothing about face ups there, like there is on the Empire 3-pip or literally any other command card.
So if you got 3 vets and 3 marks, you're just getting 6 aims.
You just get 6 aims. Yep. Don't have to give them orders. I mean, you would because it's 3 core units on this, but each friendly. But if your opponent plays like Sap Comms or Pin Down or something,
right?
It doesn't matter. Or has a jammer, doesn't matter. Each friendly placement trooper unit gains 1 standby token.
No caveats, just
no
everyone.
face ups. No, yeah. So on its face, this is like deploy the garrison, right? But deploy the garrison requires a face up, and you can only pick 2 to get standby tokens. This is just literally every emplacement trooper unit, which could be up to 7. Deploy the garrison doesn't
hand out 6 aims,
and it doesn't also hand out 6 aims. Yes. Yeah, this could be up to 7 standbys with 3 MK2s and 4 FDs.
This feels like it could get like if you have a list that's a bunch of FDs, MK2s, and vets. And remember, those aren't really expensive units, so you can get high activations and also have some heroes in there. Like turn 6, you just play this and like you win the center intercept point and the back point or the center KP because you got what? Potentially like 6 to 7 standbys. Like you can.
Yeah, just to be clear, with this, you could have up to 13 activations. This is something I built really quick. 3 vets, 3 MKs, 4 laser cannons, R2D2, rebel officer, and Han. 13 activations for 796.
No, do the vets have heavies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, FDs are only 65 points now.
Right.
And the generators are only like 3 points. You could do, if you want to force the issue, instead of just zoning, you can include Luke and force push something into your 7 standbys.
Yep.
And you can do Luke with push, and you'd want to take battle meditation, so you can give Luke an order. 3 vets with heavy upgrades, 3 MK2s, and 4 laser cannons with barrage generator, and that is 783. So you even have a 17-point bid if you want to make sure that your FDs get good deployments.
Oh goodness!
And don't forget,
gonna be a real rough turn.
Like it's not just like your only option is to like obliterate the unit you force push. Like when you spend a standby token, you don't have to shoot the unit that triggers the standby. You can shoot anything. So
or you can move. Like, well, not with the cannons, right? But
so this is, and then like they still get to go after they spend their standbys, like on their normal turn. Or as far as I can tell, you could fire support with the MK2s and then also spend their standbys at the same time off the same force push. Right? Because you could spend the standbys first, but also it's not an attack action, so it wouldn't strip the standby to fire support with an MK2.
You can literally go like down the chain, like standby fire support.
Yeah.
Shoot with your standby fire support, shoot the other standbys. Like
yeah, this is, I mean, if you're talking barrage generators on the FDs, that's 7 dice from each FD, so it's 28 dice. And then the fire supports plus the attacks from the MK2 is another 8 dice per MK2, so that's another 24 dice. So you're talking about, what is that, 45 dice? And 3 of those attacks have aims, and then your FDs haven't actually gone yet. Like they haven't gone. They can still go on that turn and like normally shoot something.
God.
And you get 6 free aim tokens.
Yeah, and this is an objective game. So like you could say you can counter this by like ignoring them for an entire turn, but you just gave them like a turn of free reign in an objective game. That's probably just a win. Like turn 6 on KP, you play this, you might just win the game because you just kill everything. Like same with intercept. What's it called? Hostage. You could just play this and like blast their hostage off the table and murder anything that tries to get close to the hostage carrier. Like there's not many. I mean, bombing run. You would play this and just murder all their bomb carriers, like when they try and come in and score.
It's
Yeah.
well, and this is one of those things like uncapped effects. If we've learned anything about any game, but especially about Legion, like uncapped effects are bad. It's why almost every single command card is somehow limited by face-ups. And even ones that aren't limited by face-ups say something like orders issued from this command card. And that includes like all of the other command cards in this Battle Force wave, including other Echo Base command cards.
Yeah.
So it's really bizarre that like this one just kind of drops all the common sense.
Yeah, and just to be clear for
normal
those of you listening at home, like going, "Oh, this isn't that bad." Like this literally just came up with this in 5 minutes. Imagine if somebody sat with this for a while and thought of how to abuse this. Because we didn't even bring in tauntauns. Like there could be something there too. Where
Yeah.
tauntauns are getting standbys. Like
Well, no, because it's
Tauntauns
emplacement
weapon on.
troopers.
or
Yeah.
emplacement. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, there's other options in that too. It's wild.
I mean, I do think the FD spam is already like an option. I think
Yeah.
we kind of saw it at Adepticon when you
Yep.
run a whole lot of FDs, and you deploy well, like what Brian Bear did with the what was it, double land speeder, bunch of FDs.
Triple FD, yeah.
We've seen that running FDs in mass is a viable strategy. And now you just give them all free standbys and your entire core aims.
And half your core is also free standbys.
Yeah, half your core. Yeah.
Yeah, this is wild to me. And it's one of those things like it like you just read the text and it breaks all of the common sense rules of command cards in Legion.
We could just do everything with face ups and it would still be busted because then you could hit
Right.
all three of your core. They would
Yeah.
coordinate, and now you got 6 aims and 3 standbys. But at least now you don't have 4
FD
FDs
standbys.
blasting you at range 5
Yeah.
and standbying at range 3. Like, I have a feeling this, if anything's going to get eroded in this, I would not be shocked if this gets a touch like coordinated fire. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we're crazy and it's not gonna be busted, but I just feel like this is gonna be kind of like an instant W on a turn.
Yeah.
And in an objective game, you can't just like
So
hide for a turn.
Here's the thing. The caveat I'll give this is that it's one turn and you are going to have to kind of set it up a little bit to make it. It's not just an auto win type of situation. Like there's some work you're going to have to do to make it happen. So I think that's the only thing kind of holding it back a little bit, but it's super strong. I'm just saying that that's the thing holding it back is going to be the pilot.
Well, it's if you set aside even the strength of the card, it's like a play experience thing, right? Like imagine explaining to your opponent how you get 6 free aim tokens and then also you get to throw down 7 standbys and then he has to figure out how to navigate that. Good. Right, just 6 free aim tokens would be a ridiculous
tokens you would run
like
this.
Not before seeing effect. I mean, if you think about how coordinated fire or the new droid 2 pip work, that's essentially what you're doing, except you don't get the aim tokens all at once. You get them over the course of the turn, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you have 6 core units, coordinated fire is 6 free aim tokens, but it takes the whole turn to generate those aim tokens. This is 6 free aim tokens at the start of the turn before anything happens, without having to do anything, except play the card. Like it's objectively better than coordinated fire, even if you just look at the aim tokens and ignore the standby token part of this. I don't know. It's wild. This card is wild. It's amazing to me that it exists. Yeah, we'll see if Echo Base lists utilizing this gimmick are effective. But I can tell you that there's going to be at least one occasion where somebody gets something force pushed into a 48 dice standby attack, and they're like, "Wait, how is this a thing?"
48 dice and 3 aims.
Right, and then you still get to actually go with all those things over the normal course of the turn.
And it's not like an army running this gimmick isn't bad without the gimmick. You got 4 FDs, 6 core, you could have Luke or Han or something in there, like a high activation. It's basically like an activation padding range list. And
I can make it even worse. I just made it even worse. 11 activations, 799. So you got the 3 vets with the heavy, the 3 MKs. You've got Luke, burst speed, force push. I put environmental gear on him, just playing around with something. Okay, listen to this. You got the laser cannons with the barrage generator, but then they all have emergency transponder. So for that turn, you pop that and put an aim token on them too for there. So you could have an aim token during their standby, and then you can aim shoot during their regular turn. So you could potentially have 9 aim tokens on the board.
10
or 10. Yeah. 10.
Yeah.
Right. Because the 4. Yeah.
Because you have 4 FDs.
Yeah.
And do you think you probably want to bid with 4 FDs just for the deployments?
Yeah. But still.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
something.
If you wanted to get crazy, right? Like if we pulled Luke off, you could put emergency transponders on all the MKs as well. And then you just pop that too. So then they have potentially, if the MKs survive and they get to their turn, you could have an aim for the standby. You could have an aim for your regular turn. And then you could also fire support. So your MKs could shoot 3 times and have...
Well, you wouldn't be able to both fire support and use transponder because transponder
right.
requires pulling from the bag. Yeah.
That's right.
And you need to face up fire support.
That's
but yeah,
that's right.
I mean, you could give them link targeting array.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And I think maybe for people who say like this army is good and it has a wombo combo, Iden Tax Strike without Tax Strike is not good, but it is a top tier competitive list because it has that wombo combo.
Yep.
This army without the combo is good and can put up a fight, and now it has like a Tax Strike level wombo effect. I think to put it in perspective, some people might be like, 1 turn's not so bad. Like Iden Tax Strike, if you can't Tax Strike, is not a good army. But because of that combo, and that's, just 3 units with a bunch of aims, not a bajillion aims and standbys. And granted, yes, they have marksmen, so it's very deadly. Point being that army lives and dies on that combo, and it's, top 2 at Adepticon. It's winning online events. It's doing really well. This army is a strong army and has a Tax Strike level power wombo turn. Like imagine if Tax Strike just also had you got triple bikes, 3 ISF, and all your core just had heavy. So like even if you didn't Tax Strike, you just have a good army. Like that's kind of what this seems like to me.
On the plus side, I think this gives new life to Commander Luke.
Oh man, like if you didn't do Commander Luke though, you could put link targeting ring, emergency on the MKs, emergency transponders on the laser cannons, and you could put offensive push on the vets, and then you could put Han in there, and you still got 49 points. That's only 751.
I think you do want Luke though, so that you can proactively trigger the standbys instead of just instead of. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's extremely powerful just purely as a zoning effect, but Luke lets you proactively trigger the standbys. So and these are, by the way, these are range 3 standbys because all of these units have Sentinel. These are not range 2 standbys.
Well, just imagine like you got Wookiees hiding behind something close to their army. You just play this, force push them in the open, like 100% to 0, a whole squad of Wookiees.
And then maybe shoot some other stuff because your FDs have range 5 and you don't have to shoot the thing that triggers the standby.
Yep.
This card is crazy. The fact that this card exists in a Battle Force wave with some of these other cards is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and 501st feels real bad when you see this card.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, guard players. You've been having a rough run of it, and you're just kicking them while you're down.
I know. It's a Battle Force full of non-bows.
Yeah.
And I listen, I understand. Yeah, with the Luke really helps to push that, but like I think there's even other options. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
we're not even thinking of, right? Like, I mean, dude,
you can take T-47s in this list.
It's like almost 11 o'clock my time, and I'm exhausted, and I'm like adding 30 more aim tokens onto this list. Like,
it's crazy. I would not be surprised if we see an errata on this card.
I hope we do. If we don't, it means that attention is not being paid. I mean, we'll have to see someone actually do this at a tournament, probably.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate because
I got you. I'll do this
Okay.
I'll take it at Nova.
Please don't do it at Nova.
Oh yeah.
Are you going somewhere besides Nova?
No. Just Nova.
Damn it!
I'm bringing this one down the pipe. But
You're on the Saturday heat at least,
Like,
right?
what happened to your Luke Sabine thing? Where you're like, I'm only playing Luke Sabine for a year.
I'm still playing it, but like you could even add Leia and a rebel officer in there instead of Luke, and you could give them electro binoculars. And so I'll pump the aims so high on that one turn. I'll literally just wipe the board of whatever you have.
Anything in range, just
Yeah.
go ahead and pick it up.
Well, and your vet's got dodges, by the way, if you didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
defense, so they also get dodges.
I didn't even think of
Yeah.
that.
They got aims and dodges.
Yeah, I put offensive push on them too, so they just can move up a little bit, get another aim, and
Yeah.
I'll tell
This
you.
may be
And
painful.
here's why this is dangerous. Vets, just without an aim, with a move shoot, vets can really take something out, and people generally aren't ready for
Oh yeah.
it. So now imagine if I have with offensive push, I now have 2 aims, and I've just put something that wasn't in line of sight or wasn't in range within range of those vets, and then maybe I fire support with them instead. Like the amount of options, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy.
Yeah. Like all you need is one thing to trigger it, and you got 4 FDs shooting at range 5 twice.
Yep.
I think right, the last thing that I felt was
Oh,
really, really degenerate
so
in the
good.
game was like the clone standby sharing. Yeah, Rexstar was also brutal post standby sharing, but during standby sharing, I'm just like,
And that
We're
was
doing
like
standbys
usually 1 to
again?
2 standbys in practice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so this makes me pretty nervous. I think when you like the reason why deploy the garrison says 2 units is because, as we've seen, standbys can be really degenerate. Like, I mean,
Especially
What's it
command
called?
phase standbys.
yeah,
I mean, are there any? The only other effect like this, I think, besides deploy the garrison, is hello there, right?
I think what's it called? Lando's 2-pip, right?
Oh yeah, Lando's 2-pip, and then yeah, both Cassian and Iden's 1-pips give them a standby, but
Mhm.
after they activate, not
Yep.
during the command phase. Yeah.
And both those cards are great.
Right. Yeah. So every other command card that gives out standby tokens is A, linked to a unique character, and B, maximum 2 standbys.
Yeah, I have a
And doesn't have
feeling
any other effects on it. for
all
the
they
most
got to
part.
do is do face ups and limit it to 3, and this becomes a balanced card. Because then all your vets can get aims, and all your
Well, it's still
MK2s
6
can get
free aim
standbys.
tokens.
Well, I would say put 3 on both. So you only get 3 aims
3 aims,
total.
3 standbys. Yeah,
3
yeah.
standbys, so you get all your, because then it's still favorable, right? All your vets are going to get aims and dodges. All your MK2s are going to get standbys. That's still a busted card, and it's
Yep.
like it's still
Yeah.
amazingly good.
Yeah, just limit it to
my
3 total.
I think that's what hurts is like you could nerf this hard, and it's still an amazing card, and so that kind of puts into perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just looking
right.
over here. Yeah, I've definitely got 2 FDs together already. I've got all the vets.
I only have 1. I only have 1 FD.
I just need to put 2 more together and paint them up, and I'm bringing this to Nova, Kyle.
What day are you playing on, Jay?
The same day you are, Pat.
There's no way I'm getting enough vets and FDs together by then. I was going to ask you if I could borrow yours, but clearly that's not going to be an option.
I don't know. I'm like, I love the Luke idea, but I'm just like looking at this other stuff with Leia and Officer. Just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, I'll just load everything with like 12 aims and just be like, okay, good luck this turn, pal.
The problem with not using Luke is you leave yourself open to
Yeah.
the standbys getting stripped potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, if your opponent has like 7 range 4 weapons, which is actually kind of a hard threshold to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, what triple snipers? You need a bunch of heavies with.
Range 4 heavies,
I guess droids might be able to do it because you sometimes
Well,
have like 6 range
potentially.
4 heavies.
Yeah.
So
Or
what
like
you
a Shadow Collective list with 6 pikes and Bosk, potentially.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
still
So-
a lot of work to be shooting off all these
Yeah.
standbys. You're just shooting with all your heavy weapons at range 4 just to prevent
all
this
right.
from happening.
so let's say you got something maybe within range, right? If you have the vets move up with that offensive push, like I don't know, they're probably gonna wreck whatever that is at range 4 before it can even do anything. So you have the vets protect all your standbys, and then if they try to move or do anything else,
Well, and the FDs can just shoot you back with like a better dice pool.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
range 5 and you're range 4. So like your pikes are
Right.
plinking.
yeah, you got my standby. Good job. I'm gonna hit you now.
Now I'm just gonna
Yeah,
aim
right.
shoot you and like
Yeah.
take half your squad off the board when you did like a suppression and maybe a wound.
Yeah, throw 3 dice at the FD, and then the FD throws 7 dice back at you.
Yeah.
And suppresses you.
Yep. Gross. All right.
You're welcome, world. You're welcome.
Yeah. Please don't play that at Nova, Jack.
No, everybody needs to play it so they fix it.
That's true. I
I
would
would
like to
rather
like.
everyone play this and break the game so they fix it than no one play it and it just like no one plays it and then people bring it to Worlds or something. Because I'd rather
Oh yeah,
it just-
100%.
everyone play this right now and break the game so it gets fixed.
Yeah, it's just
an
that
easier
Nova is
run,
the
just
only
change the
tournament this
words.
year that I'm going to for the rest of the year. It'd be nice if that one could be like not ruined for me.
No,
All right.
I'm gonna take it down.
All right. Hopefully we'll just dodge each other then.
Hopefully. I doubt it though.
All right. We've talked enough about this card.
I'm
I hope that the episode name, Jay, has something to do with this card.
Oh, I
I'm
will.
sure you can come up with something.
Yeah.
Wins at any cost.
All right. Well, you guys got any? We were going to do a hobby segment today, but I
Yeah.
feel like we should bump that.
Yeah,
'cause
we had a
we've been
lot to
going for
talk
a
about
while.
with these battle forces.
Yeah.
So I think
did.
overall thoughts with all the battle forces. Now we've talked about them.
Yeah. The 501st just seems bad. Lots of like anti synergies in there. The Blizzard one feels the most like nail on the head to me with the unit mix and the command card effects and stuff. Droid one just feels like a droid list with free command cards. And then this one is ridiculous. The Echo Base one.
Yeah, I think the flavor of units is really great for Echo Base. I think this one card just kind of.
Oh,
I
it
think if
ruins the
this
whole
card-
thing for
yeah.
it. Yeah.
If this card gets fixed, I think Echo Base will be right there where like
With
amazing
Blizzard Force.
flavor,
Yeah.
like seems balanced. But I think it's amazing how one busted card could really throw it all real out
Oh
of
yeah.
whack. So
100%.
hopefully it's an easy fix if if everyone breaks the game using this card. It's only one thing they got to fix.
I mean, there's just so many ways to do it too, right? I don't think, we have a couple list ideas, but I think there's other ones with like T47. Like there's a bunch of dumb stuff
it's-
you could do, right? And it just makes it's just gonna be real rough go.
Someone shouldn't have to ruin a tournament with this card for it to be obvious that it needs to be changed.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That might be what it takes. I don't know.
Who knows?
Could be one of those as needed balance changes, quote unquote,
Yeah.
that they've said they'll do. So
Oh, dude, yeah,
Who knows? Maybe it could even be a typo. Maybe it should say minimum of 3.
I don't see where the typo would be in here. There's not very much text on this card.
you keep dreaming, pal. I mean, because on any good table, like oh god, it's just so bad. Like I was just looking at the objectives, and it's just like, yeah, go ahead, get intercept, key positions, sabotage.
Well,
like
on bid, so you use
literally-
your deck and then include those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like literally anything. And
What's the worst case scenario? Like breakthrough? Oh, I'm just gonna like on turn 6 play this and kill everything you're trying to break through with. Like,
Right, just defend your zone. Yeah.
yeah, like just don't let anything by. Bombing run, same deal. And then the counters to this, like we said, all these range 4 gun lines. Like if you're plinking at FD cannons with your heavies, those FD cannons are just gonna murder those units back.
I think the
Yep.
best counter to this would be Annihilation Looms. But I think that only works if the Krennic player is red because of how the timing works on command cards. Because when there's an immediate text effect on a command card, it's blue player first and then red player. So the suppression from Annihilation Looms would have to happen after the standby tokens, which means it only works if Krennic is red. But then all you're doing is stripping the standbys. It's still 6 free game tokens.
You heard it here, folks. The meta is going to be Blizzard Force and Krennic lines with really deep bids to get that red player.
And it's funny because like normally card effects like this, you could play Sap Comms and deny the face ups to deny the effects. But this has nothing to do with face ups. I guess you could play Change of Plans, but then you're just booting it 1 turn into the future, which doesn't really help you. And that's a Han card. So like you probably are doing this yourself at this point if you're running Han. So
you
yeah,
can't counter it with an aggressive army because it's just a bunch of standbys. Like,
right. Yeah,
you can't get in there into the mix and deal with it because they're just going to do this turn whenever you're trying to close that gap.
Right. Yeah. Gross. All right.
Yeah.
Let's land this plane. Crash this plane.
All right.
We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jay.
Lucas.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Bye, Lucas.
Bye, everybody.
We haven't seen the last of you.
If I have anything to say about it, we will.